A campaign group called Led by Donkeys has staged the world's biggest anti-Elon Musk protest by carving out a 250-meter-long "Don't Buy a Tesla" message on a Welsh beach. This is awesome.
My name's Prama, and I've been a Tesla owner for 6 years. We used to joke that Elon Musk was like a real-life Iron Man. But then I think there's so many things that have happened. He's gone into becoming someone who is obsessed by power, and that's really changed my view on him. And when he started getting onto the ticket of the extreme far right, that's when I started thinking, I'm not really sure I should be driving a Tesla. But the pinnacle, I'd say the absolute pinnacle, was the Nazi salute that, of course has become very infamous now. But at that point, there was no turning back. My message to anyone who's thinking of buying a Tesla, don't put your money towards this extremism and division of society. Please don't buy a Tesla.
Wow, that was pretty impressive. I got to show y'all this here. Y'all are going to laugh at this one. Because, there's nothing like the stupidity of people on Fox News. And I really hate to say when you're a brother that you are stupid. But that's pretty much what Lawrence B. Jones is. I mean, the boy ain't bright, okay? The boy is not bright whatsoever. But I saw this on. I follow this woman. She's decoding Fox News, and she literally watches Fox News. So praise the Lord for her sanity and pray for her. But if you want to understand how nutcase these people are, this is back-to-back days on Fox News talking about Tesla and electric vehicles. This shows you, remember, these right-wingers watch this crap every single day. They're being fed stupidity. Listen.
Where they had an array of 5 different Teslas, including a red, white, and blue one, and the president picked the red one. He bought it. Apparently, he wrote a check to Elon Musk for it right on the spot.
Yeah, he doesn't like direct deposit, he said. But I love what Sean did. He bought a Tesla, right?
Two of them. He bought one for radio that he's going to give to someone who wins that contest, and he bought a personal one. He's selling his other car and replacing it with a Tesla.
So friendsoffoxnews.com, if you've done the same thing or tried to take action, because this guy's trying to donate his time and his expertise to the country, getting no money, and his companies are paying the price, let alone him not being at the head of it. And yesterday, one of the supporters of our radio show, the Dollar Loan Center, they bought $250,000 worth of Tesla stock, and they went out and bought a brand new vehicle for their fleet. Yeah. Because they are so outraged about what's happening.
Because it's nonsense.
And if you've done that, just do it. Listen, they're not cheap, but they're great cars.
No, $35,000 for their cheapest one.
That's very affordable.
So this is the very next day, also on Fox and Friends. I cannot make this up. Here we go.
When I decided to go on vacation and get an electric car, I didn't even know it was an electric car. We're not ready for this. There's not enough charging stations, and then you don't know which connector works or not. People want options. If people want to drive an electric car, it's up to them. They want a hybrid.
I got a hybrid.
It should be up to.
It's
but
great.
If people just want old-fashioned gas that works, you can just go to a pump and fill it up. They should have that option as well.
But in the new Green Deal, which was the Inflation Reduction Act, there's money and infrastructure. There's money for the charging stations. They didn't follow through. One of the things that makes
they built like 7 or 8 of them.
Right? Yeah. What makes it the whole sense that the Earth will disappear if we don't drive an electric car is pretty much over.
Lee Zeldin.
The sheer stupidity, Mustafa, that is on display on that network is astounding. And the thing is, listen, the ratings came out and showed that they were beating the broadcast networks in prime time. They feed drivel to a bunch of people, and they believe the lies and stupidity every single day and night.
And it's unfortunate because anybody who has done any basic reading would understand that, not only that the climate crisis is real, but in many of the locations that are having these impacts are places that desperately need us to be able to do whatever we can to stop these extreme weather events. And of course, electric vehicles help us to break the addiction to fossil fuels. So folks are actually hurting themselves when they continue to consume this misinformation and disinformation, because we need to be clear. Misinformation just means you made a mistake, possibly. Disinformation means a real intentionality in you sharing information that is not true. Now, the truth is that Tesla's, their stock dropped 53%. And there are other EVs that are out there now that have longer ranges and are doing better on some of the various driving tests that are out there. But that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that these folks one day will say, this is the greatest thing ever. You need to go out and take whatever bit of money you have and invest into a billionaire's company. And then the next day to say that it doesn't make any sense for you to invest in these types of vehicles. And then the last thing I'll say, it's so ridiculous when you have Trump, who came in and Biden had put the funds in place to make sure that there were EV charging stations, to make sure that we're having cleaner forms of energy, all the things that are necessary to help all communities be safer and healthier. And then for them not to acknowledge that and just make it seem like somebody wasn't doing their job. It takes time to build out a grid. It takes time to build out the charging stations across the nation. And when you are constantly starting and stopping because we have these different administrations that come in who don't understand the steps that are necessary, then you should put the blame where it belongs. And that's in those who have been climate deniers and those who have been stopping our progress on a green or clean economy.
I just, Morgan, I really laugh at how these free market people who would be going crazy if President Joe Biden was every single day pushing a company to buy it, to support by their stock. And I love that idiot Brian Kilmeade. I mean, he's giving his time. He's not getting paid. I mean, he could be running his company. That's his choice. He's choosing to do this here. So don't come crying to me when this is what happens to your stock price. That ain't hey, again, all I got for you is Scarface's song, No Tears. So stock is down 36% the last month. They've lost, $800 billion in market cap. I can't wait till it hit $100. Because what's going to happen is
it seems like they might get there.
It keeps dropping. And here's the other thing that I think is hilarious. I gotta pull this up here. So he's been, he was touting the indestructible Cybertruck and how it was bulletproof. Only problem, Morgan, they're now having to recall a lot of these because of this. Yeah, the parts are falling off. Looks like they use super glue. So it's a little hard, Morgan, for me to believe that, this indestructible Cybertruck, it's falling apart because the glue is coming apart.
Yeah, and it really does seem like, part of the reason why, to the extent there are people left that are giving Elon Musk some benefit of the doubt, they're not many, but it is this idea that he's this, technological genius and he's created so much value. Tesla is the most amazing car ever. And look, it was one of the, definitely the most successful early EV car in the US, though, of course, there are cars being made other places that are also very advanced, but that's another conversation. But no, I mean, the fact that this guy now has a global movement against him, that's just astounding to me. That you have people all over that are saying, we hate this guy, make him go away. But it's not surprising because, as we know, our policies, the White House, has the ability, especially through things like the trade policy, to impact the financial bottom lines of people all over the globe. And so the fact that we also have other billionaires that are friends with him, that are now trying to lead protests and get people activated against him, I think that tells us that, you know, the public sentiment has definitely turned against him. Whether or not that'll translate into other punishment for the administration at large, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I do think it's a good idea to continue to just point people on that corruption point. And it reminds me, Roland, of, you know, because I'm in Ohio, so there's all sorts of people with all sorts of political views. And people are like, well, what's the big deal? Second Trump administration, this and that. And, you know, one of the things that I point to is like, it does seem that they're being pretty clear that there's going to be conflicts of interest, that there's going to be corruption, that cronies around the president are going to be taking financial advantage of this position. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen. And there's no better example than Elon Musk.
Here's what I find to be the most laughable, Larry. The people, your company was built on people who believe in climate change, who did not want to support the fossil fuel industry. You got massive tax breaks to the tunes of billions of dollars from California, from Nevada, from Texas, a solar panel company in New York State, Buffalo, more than $1 billion that actually tanked, okay? And he ain't even producing solar panels, all sort of stuff. Your company was built literally on the backs of progressives and liberals. Red State hates electric vehicles. Trump hates electric vehicles. But then when you gave him $300 million for your campaign, all of a sudden he's loving Teslas. It's all a con. It's all a grift. So for somebody who's supposedly smart and brilliant, you got to be stupid as hell to essentially destroy the audience, your consumer base for Trump, and now you're crying because they're protesting and they're burning Teslas. And there was a poll that was taken the other day. 94% of Germans say we will never buy a Tesla because he made the Nazi move when he spoke Trump rally. So I'm sorry, I have absolutely no tears for him whatsoever. And you know what? Sean Handy can't buy enough Teslas to save his ass.
So, I think there are a couple of points. First of all, if you believe in capitalism and free market, then this is what you get when you don't provide the product, or your political affiliation turns off the people who are more likely to buy your vehicle. That's just the way it is. The second point I want to make is Musk is the biggest beneficiary of government welfare. Let's be clear about what this is. Call them subsidiaries, but it's really just government welfare in the billions, if not trillions of dollars at this point. Thirdly, I want to make a connection to those two video clips you showed, because when you read about authoritarianism, one of the things you know is about the media, print or TV, digital, et cetera, is that when they report misinformation and people consume it and believe it to be true. So you see that big contradiction from, buy Teslas, just don't buy any other vehicles that might be similar, which once again is a contradiction is if you believe in capitalism. So I think those are the 3 points I want to make is, is showing those video clips is why we're not moving towards, we're in authoritarian government, in my opinion. And then, like I said, secondly, you can't do things that are going to piss off the people who buy your cars. And so now you have to find out. And if you believe in capitalism, let the market sort it out. And if you go bankrupt, that's what the market decided. No one wants to buy your cars. And so you have to start from scratch like everyone else.
I just found this to just be utterly hilarious. And the Trump people are just really losing it. Mustafa. Pam Bondi was on Fox News. I think she's on. Why did she become Attorney General? She should just sign and become a Fox News contributor because she's actually on Fox more than she is at the Department of Justice. So she goes on to. So this, I love all of this here. She goes on Fox to decry, if you mess with a Tesla, we're gonna come after you. Donald Trump, in his interview with Laura Ingraham, this is how hilarious these people are. I know the people at GM and Ford and Chrysler got to be saying, this is stupid. Listen to this one. I find this to be just utterly insulting.
Do you consider what's happening an act of domestic political terrorism against one of your allies?
So Elon is a patriot. And again, I hardly knew Elon until the election. And he turned out that he liked me better than he liked these radical lunatics that were in it, better than Kamala, better than Joe, because he's an intelligent person. And he backed me, and he went, and he got very much involved. He thought, he actually would go around saying, if Trump doesn't win, our country is over.
But do you consider this an act of domestic terrorism?
I think so.
Why?
I think that if and when they catch the people, and I hope they do, the good thing is they have a lot of cameras in those places, and they've caught some already having to do with that. I think that you will find out that they're paid by people that are very highly.
So, Mustafa, the dude who pardoned the January 6th domestic terrorists believes that the people who are attacking Tesla dealerships, that's domestic terrorism. Quite ironic.
It is ironic, and it's just foolishness. It's distraction. And, I'd love to see what his definition of domestic terrorism actually is then, because we know, especially in relationship to our communities, we know what domestic terrorism is because we've had to deal with it for 400 plus years. But besides that, he knows that the power that people have economically is the only thing that they respect. It's the only thing that gets their attention. So when people pull their dollars away, when they say, I'm not messing with Tesla anymore, then that gives them great concern. And they try and then utilize all of this disinformation to get people back in line and to make them think, well, you have to do whatever I say. And people are like, nah, whether it's $37,000 or $150,000, depending on which brand you might want to buy, we're no longer interested in that. And that is people's choice, and that is people's power.
Well, Morgan, Elon posted this tweet, and I thought this is the appropriate way to end the show. I want you to close us out. Go to my iPad, Henry. He says, this level of violence is insane and deeply wrong. Tesla just makes electric cars and has done nothing to deserve these evil attacks. Well, Morgan, allow me to substitute where he mentions Tesla. I'll say federal workers.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And of course, we know that there's no empathy at all for what they're doing to federal workers. Luckily, we see some of these court cases that are pushing back, like we were discussing earlier, pushing back on some of those dismissals. But a lot of the damage has been done, and it's going to continue to have ripple effects throughout our community and communities across the country. The other thing I would note is we need to be very careful here, because this word terrorism and how they're defining it and starting to just define it more broadly and broadly can start to potentially, and it sounds like they're going to try to make it capture all sorts of activity that might be things that we're used to being able to do in the U.S. Pursuant to the Constitution and the First Amendment. And so we're seeing this having connections to different immigration decisions, and it's very, very serious. So, I'm listening to that. I was also thinking, Roland, just coming back to one of the things Ellie was talking about in terms of what are levers of power here, and speaking out about these kinds of things is one of them. It can be kind of ridiculous and funny, but based on how they're moving, using that word, I think we need to be hitting the streets and making it clear that this is not the type of United States of America that we want to be living in.
Yep, I agree.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. And right now we're accepting investors in our $17 million round to revolutionize the future of social media. Today, for just $399, you can own 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. While the big platforms have grown too massive and disconnected from their users, Fanbase is building a platform where creators and users truly come first. We've already raised $8.6 million from everyday investors who believe in this vision, and now you can join them. This is your chance to invest in a social media tech company with over 1 million users that is disrupting media by allowing anyone to reach all of their following and monetize their content from day one. The market is changing, big platforms are failing to serve their users, and Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now. Invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the future of social media.
A Dying Planet, The Lost Harvest. In the year 2060, Earth is a shadow of its former self, choked by pollution, endless concrete, and abandoned by nature. Only a small fishing village by the sea has managed to preserve the planet's last untouched forest. In this dying world, June and Win, two young girls and the last children in their village, cling to the remnants of hope and innocence. Win roams the forest, collecting the season's last harvest, while June sings songs that echo with a haunting beauty through the village.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
Duck Walk by Ariel Williams. Henrietta Wilkins rushes to church one Sunday morning, accidentally leaving her gate open. Her duck, Duckwaisha, seizes the chance to take her 5 ducklings to the local pond. Along the way, the ducklings fall into a manhole, causing a town-wide rescue effort. After a frantic search, Duckwaisha finds her ducklings safely swimming in the pond, and the heartwarming story makes local news. Meanwhile, Henrietta realizes her mistake and panics, but the firemen reunite her with Duckwaisha and her ducklings, bringing a happy ending to their adventure.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
The Dreamer's Crystal Ball. Somewhere in Springfield, Ohio, a little Haitian migrant girl and her mother had just picked fresh berries, nuts, dates, and fruits for the elders of the town. With the money they earned, they eagerly headed to the grocery market, planning to buy vegetables for a hearty deer stew the mother was preparing for that night. But when they arrived, a chaotic scene greeted them. For more, click tree link in bio. Sable's Song, A Siren's Journey to Joy. Once upon a time, in a small, worn-out town in Middle America, there lived a little child named Sable. Worn into poverty, Sable's body was frail, so thin that you could see her bones, but her heart was filled with an exuberance that not even hunger could dull. Sable was awkward, with dark, deep-set eyes that sparkled with innocence and wonder. Despite being born a boy, Sable always knew she was different. Inside her lived a girl, bright and effervescent, waiting to bloom. For more, click tree link in profile. Mahogany's Dream by Ariel Williams follows the journey of Mahogany, an African-American trans woman who rises to fame as an internationally beloved supermodel. From her loving family's early support to her glamorous career, Mahogany faces the complexities of identity, ambition, and resilience. As her career blossoms, she encounters jealous rivals, cultural obstacles, and the persistent shadows of restrictive laws under Project 2025, when she meets the man who secretly supported her career, and their friendship blossoms into love. They dream of marriage, only to find that her trans identity stands as a legal barrier. With love and the courage to be true to herself, Mahogany's story is one of inspiration, as she prepares to confront both her public and personal worlds on her terms.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.